First, I want to give thanks and praise to the Most High. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for our ancestors, our parents, and the reality is that if it weren't for our parents, we wouldn't be here right now. You know, if it weren't for our grandparents, our parents wouldn't be here. So that's why we must give thanks. And these know that we have a great man inside the house, Buzzie Bee. But first, we have to give thanks to Conscious Tony Barber Shop, most conscious shop in the UK. So anytime you're in Tottenham, North London, please visit Conscious Tony Barber Shop. Buzzie Bee, how are you keeping, man?
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah, good to have you among us now. But Buzzie Bee, I know you've been busy, and I know that there's a big project I know you're hands-on involved with, and it's really the book we're looking to put together definitely by end of July, was the latest, you know. The book is Redefine Relationship, How to Find a Good Black Man and a Good Black Woman. I know you're the editor, but what made you want to get involved, and what is an editor? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, editor have got several things that he or she does. Obviously, he or she makes sure, obviously, that the book generally is of good standard to be published. But also, they look at the content, they look at the way the book is organized, and to make sure that the book is also readable, and also to support the authors in their endeavor to make sure that the work is of high standard and high quality.
Okay then. And I know you're very excited, but what's so exciting about this particular project here?
Because the event that you held, I think it was back in 2014 it was?
Yeah, it's about a few years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2014, around in October, about redefining relationship. Finding a good black man, good black woman. And I was one of the panelists, and out of that came a really kind of a defining moment in terms of the quality the quality of opinion that came up of that particular seminar. And you know, I remember you had in conversation with me, you said that I would really like to put this, you know, to put a book together based on what was said, because you felt that the caliber of the people on the panel, and also the quality of the information that came out of that, you thought that it should be recorded and be available in one place, and perhaps the best way to do that would be through a book. So I kind of felt quite excited to be part of such a project.
Okay, because also we have to mention Sister Amanda, who's been very much part of coordinator, who's based in up North Manchester side, and she's been working tirelessly, you know. And it seems that we have quite a few very high quality people on the panel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got some pretty good, you know, because I've seen some of the topics that's coming through in terms of relationships, and so many different angles that I haven't even thought or seen before, and so in depth, you know, about it. So it's going to be a pretty established. It's going to be a pretty exciting book. But the whole concept for the book also is not just about writing or giving an opinion. It's about also offering a solution. It has to be solution orientated, or even in terms of giving advice as to what you think would be the best way forward. Because it's all right to give people information, you know, but then, in my view, if information is thrown at someone and they just read information, take it and say, well, what do I do next with information? Because with relationships, people are always looking for solutions.
Yes.
It's the human condition. People are always looking to improve a relationship. Even the so-called perfect relationship, there's still room for improvement because we have flaws. Because we're human beings. We're contradictory in nature. So it's an ongoing thing. So there's never enough said about relationships, as far as I'm concerned. So I think your book will only add to that list of growing books.
Okay, then. Got another. We got Nigel Beckles.
Yes,
I
that's
understand
right.
is your
my cousin.
your cousin.
Yeah, I just found that out
Brother,
just last year.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that,
But he's my cousin, yes.
because he's involved in the project,
You're right.
and he's got a lot of quality and premiership, so to see.
Yeah, I would say Premiership League in terms of his advice. He's got a comprehensive view in the way that he looks at it, because he looks at every aspect of it. He just doesn't give the general. I mean, he looks at every approach to side angles. He gives, look. He tries to bring all the different angles together and cut through all the generalities. In terms of how he thinks our relationship should work.
And also we got Dr. Love,
Yeah.
and he will contribute chapter will be how to find a good black man and a good black woman. It'll be more like the backdrop, really gives like the foundation.
That will form in essence, that will underpin the entire subject matter in terms of what the book is about. So all the other subjects will be built around that in terms of because that is the establishing question, really.
Yeah.
All the others are adding to that. So everybody will add to the pot of how. So you can say that if you want to say that is the main recipe, everybody's just adding to it. But that's the name of the dish. But everybody else is adding adding the recipe. So absolutely. So that is the one that will underpin the thing of the book, and it's looking good. I like what I'm seeing. In terms of what people will be talking about.
Because there's quite a few subject matters. We won't go through all of them, but just mention a couple of them. The sisters be talking about the whole thing about sex, position of sex, what does sex mean, and then from a spirituality. There's a sister we talk about. Was talking about self-love. Marnie we talking about be the gift you want to be. Yeah, want to be.
Yeah, and also being yourself.
Being yourself.
In a relationship.
Yeah.
Whether or in the context of, because some people think that they lose themselves when you get in a relationship, because it's the nature of relationship. Some people maintain that you can be yourself. It's the only way to have a wholesome relationship is to actually be yourself. But there's some people who have the opposite view.
Yeah.
So that subject will also be explored. Obviously, the subject of spirituality as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is also there.
Because we have Edison who will be looking, exploring the whole thing about spirituality,
from that angle, and also one writer is also looking at the relationships and an illness, because quite often when you might have a partner and then they might fall ill or have an ailment for good reason, and sometimes it can be quite challenging and difficult for people to maintain a relationship. So that writer will be looking at that in terms of sustaining or bringing a sense of understanding to that kind of relationship when illness intervenes.
That's very interesting. And also, just because there's so many, I just mentioned one more. Is that we have Brother Sean. We look at your thing about finance and business in relationship. What's the word I use when you sign up? The prenuptial agreements. Prenuptial agreement. So
because in today's modern world, because relationships have evolved and has changed the context, particularly the way that men and women relate to each other in terms of the economic, because women has been empowered certainly in terms of from the economic angle, so now they have their own financial and economic independence, whereas before they were more dependent on men in some respect, and also the men called the shots, but now women can pretty much carve out. So it's kind of a change the dynamics in relationships somewhat, and particularly if the couple is married, that also changes the dynamics now, particularly if people come into relationships. Sometimes it's finding what is the motive, because the motive is not always what you think it is. So, everybody doesn't get together for... I think we have to be realistic that everybody don't get together for love. Or whatever love is, or whatever their definition of what love is. It's, some people just say economic thing for them. But when you fall out of love, you can surprise how the human nature can go from intense love to hatred. That hatred is much more intense than love. When it turns bitter and sour, then you cannot believe that these people actually loved each other. Now they want to cut each other's throat literally. And when you got the financial underlay of that, then it creates the thing about prenuptial where they trust because one of the topics also is about trust.
Yeah.
Do you set the boundaries before you get in there, or do you just walk in and say, I love this person, and you don't set any boundaries simply because that you are totally overwhelmed by the emotion of love, and you forget everything else. And so do I trust this person. So when you're talking about prenuptial, the different things, it might sow a seed of doubt. Hang on a minute, well, if you love me, why, But I think it is coming to terms with the reality of what today's situation is.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a different context now, in a different time, and I don't think we should allow the emotional thing of love to undermine or to totally put a blind over the reality of what's in front of you. So I don't think, but quite often that has happened quite a lot, where people fall in love and they're totally oblivious to what the other person, what grand design the other person has. They don't see it at all. They never see it coming until it hits them like a thunderbolt. I mean, I suppose there's an element of the trust thing and things like that, but all of that will be explored in the book.
All that will be explored in the book. There's two questions I want to ask you. Because obviously, one of our objectives is to have it like a work in progress book. For example, we want to go into schools, colleges, wherever it takes us, even in people's homes, and have a discussion about, about the book, section on the book and everything, right? And obviously we're going to have so many different kind of workshops, etc., right?
Yeah.
I just want to bring you into, because I know that we discussed this, and in terms of, because the book is about really, it's more of a work in progress book.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're right there. We just don't want the book, like I said, for people to just read it just for the sake of, because it has to be a book where that it can be used in different levels, different dimensions, because it can provide solutions, but it can also be used as a textbook in terms of having a workshop or a seminar or anything, or even if you want to go to school, you want to talk about relationships.
That's right.
It has to be in that way so that people can use it as a tool as well.
That's
not just, it is a tool that can be used essentially. Even I would like the book to be a tool for other relationship experts, because there's no book for relationship experts, is there? Because relationship experts, they're coming from their own originality, their own point of view, but there's no manual, there's nothing for them to say, well, I can actually.
But you know what's interesting?
That's a manual.
You know what's interesting, right? I'm glad you mentioned that, because most books were written, right, it's really geared towards women.
Yes.
Right?
And that's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's the point I wanted to come to. I'm glad you actually raised
because
that.
the question I'm going to ask you, right. When was the last time you had a hot bath with candlelight, with wine, reading a romantic book?
Well, have I done that? I don't think I've ever done it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've never done that. No.
But for women now, that's the norm.
Yeah, because I think
because that's why the books are really.
You're right. Because the industry, because I think that the way that the relationship industry has worked, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You're perfectly right there. It always has been towards women, because I think I was having this conversation with someone, and I was saying that all the relationship events I've been to, or discussions that I happen to get into, the drive or the trajectory of where the discussion is going is essentially geared towards women. It's always about what men aren't doing well enough or terribly enough, or it was catering, you're right, for women, and most of the books tend to address that. I don't know if that is because that society or societies, women has always been the one that vocalize how things affect them, where men essentially don't really want to talk about that. So women tend to generally speaking, to vocalize how they feel about things. So that, I think, could have shaped the industry in itself. So therefore you would have books to match that particular attitude. Whereas with men, we want to say, well, women are treating us bad, let's talk about it, have seminars about it. Men, it was just not the done thing. So I think that perhaps might have influenced what you have now, but I think that this book we're trying to shift it towards where that it can be an equal conversation, where it's about everybody. Where the conversation is not always about how bad a man is treating a woman, but equally there are lots of things to be said on all sides. That's my view anyway, and obviously my experience as well. But because that it has always been about women, and women have been made to feel comfortable. And we can talk about emotions, we can talk about relationships, we can always talk about one thing, because with men it was not. And men would just go there and be on the receiving end. Sometimes I was saying in a minute, I can't speak for all the men. I'm just, sometimes I was well, they said, well, tell me something. Why do you men? I said, well, hang on a minute here, stop right there. I said, I can't speak for all. I can only represent myself. I'm only responsible for my actions. I'm not responsible for the actions of other people or other men. I can only speak for myself. Okay. Most of the time I have to defend it in a way.
What I say? This question I'm gonna ask you. I don't think about love because I remember you phoning.
Oh, no, that particular.
It's very.
Lots of people talk about. Tell me about that particular conversation.
So, how do you think you're thinking about love?
Well, love is it's one of these words that, I mean, first of all, it's a very abstract term. In that, I think I don't think there is a definitive definition of what it is. I think it perhaps means a lot of different things to different people. But if you want to put a general context to it, obviously it has a relationship to how one feels in a particular situation. If you feel, if you have this burst of positive energy that you feel within you when you love something, whether it's a football match or a woman, whatever. But it obviously it has different levels in the way that you respond to it. So it's, to me, it's also a complex. It's also a complex term because people will say in relationships, well, you won't do that if you love me, and sometimes I think, right, just talking in my experience, and I'm saying, well, that issue has actually got nothing to do with love. It's somebody who use it as a thing to probably get what they want. Is it really about love? What is it about? So it's a very complex thing, and for me, it's about, I think each individual have got, what it means to them for love. I don't think that you can impose a particular definition. You can have a general one as to what it entails in terms of what you would expect from someone that loves you, how to treat you, but in terms of a specific definition, I'm not quite sure how to pin that.
Because everybody experiences love
in a totally different
way, and express that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, that word love is a very powerful,
very powerful,
absolutely powerful. But at the same time, it is used quite loosely, very, very much.
It's almost like a cliche now.
Cliche, you know what I mean? So you need to explore that.
Because the day when she wants to say I love you, you wonder, well, right, what exactly does she mean when she says that? Because you don't know what her designs are in terms of psychological, you know what's going on. So when that word is used, some people do get skeptical, particularly if the person didn't have a good experience, experience of what love was meant to be. Sometimes some of these things could come from childhood as well. Because how a person experiences love is the way that they will see it when they grow up. So if a person haven't been loved, don't know how to love, then it's quite difficult for them to grapple with the concept of what love is. And you see what I mean? So it has a lot to do with experiences.
We've got about a minute left. Yeah. So what is now that 2 minutes go very quick, man. Very, very quick. So again, we have Buzzie Bee inside the house. Buzzie Bee, have you got an email address or anybody contact you?
Yeah, it's bb3dmedia@gmail.com. We just want you to look forward for this book, Redefining Relationship, How to Find a Good Black Man or Good Black Woman. It will be the book of the year, 2016, so do look forward to that. I'm the commission editor, along with Find Your Voice. It will be under the auspices of Find Your Voice, so do look forward for this book. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Peace.